goal.
I hear that crackling. It's got to be somebody's back.
It is, actually.
It feels like my back. Like Tony, like my shoulder is like done. I don't know why. It just started hurting throughout the day. Like I bent over wrong at work, and that was it. But
both of my shoulders are messed up, and I think one of them, the rotator cuff in my right shoulder is actually completely gone. But I know exactly why. So it's because when I'm sure Chris remembers when I was younger, I could dislocate both of my shoulders at the same time, and yeah, I probably shouldn't have been doing that.
So you had some Mel Gibson shit going on,
Yeah.
He'd run around like this, like looking like a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, because I could actually fold
so
my arm around my neck. It was great.
And then go up to the wall and just go, whack! Yeah, I'm good.
So just, we want to thank everybody for being here. Tonight we are going to be discussing a few different things. Oh man, I just like brought up the YouTube feed and all I saw was me going like this. That was pretty funny. So we're going to be discussing, towards the end or the second half of the podcast, we're going to discuss Transformers because Tony and John, or Psycho here, have a hard-on for Transformers they want to discuss. So we're going to provide that, and we're going to do it here. The first half, we're going to discuss Turtles. NECA Turtles.
Woo! Oh.
Awesome.
And Weizie has stopped recording. He's having internet complex problem things, man. He
is.
God, I feel for him. You're back.
Is it recording again, or is it still he's got to restart it?
No, he had to jump off now. He's got no audio. I'll go back to the chat. Scott. Hey, my name is Scott. Well, let's just show this. My name's Scott Walker. I'm a huge fan. I love horror films. I definitely love movies from the 90s, 2000s. I'm 100% a 90s kid.
We're back?
And I love screen films. You are back. Scott Walker, welcome, man. So how did you find Collector's Hideout?
Thank you, Tony, for taking over during my computer being stupid.
One of us got to do it.
Couldn't count on
He
John.
responds, but
Right,
kind of cool. I love seeing new names, man, whether it's here or the other place.
But yeah, no, definitely, it's a great question, Tony. I'm curious how Scott came upon us and found it, because we are definitely always looking for new viewers.
Scott, you got interesting perspectives, man, and that could be a good thing to talk about. Maybe not necessarily tonight, but that could be something cool to get into. But again, curious where you heard about the podcast. Where did you come across it?
Now, see, he's not wrong. Like, okay.
Your YouTube channel appeared on my YouTube. Okay.
Perfect. That's what I like to see. That's awesome.
Sweet.
So,
awesome.
That whole rabbit hole of Scream and Stu still being alive is definitely a rabbit hole I can dive into on another episode. Maybe next week we can do that, touch on it. I'm in. But this week, like I was saying before, we're doing Transformers, and then we're going to discuss before that NECA Turtles. And specifically, the Turtles that NECA announced are being up for pre-order in like 12 days is the 2012 cartoon figures. So we've seen them at the shows, right? We've seen the
prospects. What's coming out?
Yeah, we've seen like the 4 Turtles, a couple of the Shredder, and a couple Foot. But I want to do like a wish listing, things we want to see in that line, what we want to get from that line, what we expect to see, the dream line for it to be successful. Because obviously, in my mind, they're going that route because they're running out of things to do with the original cartoon.
Thank God. Not for nothing, but thank God.
Right.
Let's move on.
So that's why they've dived into this rabbit hole. A lot of rabbit holes today. I saw like 7 of them on the way home. But yeah.
So I'm curious, before we jump into that thing specifically, what do you guys think about the pre-order? Is it worth pre-ordering, or should you just wait to find it in the stores?
If it was current cartoon, I'd say just wait on it.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that these are going to be very big because people
I agree.
seem to be very excited for them.
Yeah.
I think to your point, what you said earlier about like they're getting to the end of the cartoon line, and they're already like they've already done a couple of the 2003s, which I really like that one series also. Did a couple of 2003s, but the 2012s were very, very popular. My son watched it. I watched it with my son. I like it. I still think it's a good series. I think it's a great middle ground between them being young teenagers, but not being like Mutant Madness portrays them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're young teenagers, but they're not babies.
Well, I mean, I think part of the appeal as well is that, you know, for people our age, and I assume that you're part of the group as well, but the first Ninja Turtle show was kind of like the it thing when I was a kid, right? Like it was amazing, it was monumental. Mm-hmm. And then the 2003 show came along about the time that Weizie and I were seniors in high school. So at that point, it's like, oh, you know, we're not watching Ninja Turtles, right? Yeah, but I mean, since I have gone back and rewatched it, and at least from my perspective, you have the 87 one's got a special place in my heart. It's probably, it's not that it's great, but it's the one that I grew up with. And I would think the 2003 iteration is more comic book accurate. Yes. But the 2012 iteration, in my opinion, is probably the best overall interpretation of the Ninja Turtles, hands down.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree. The 2012 cartoon was just amazing when you look at all the different aspects and different realms they went, the different directions they went in. Like, it was insane what they did. And the stories they did, the homage they paid to what came before, everything. The only thing that the 2012 series really pissed me off about was when they did, like, I know they did one. I think they did 2 episodes where, like, they crossed over with all the different renditions of the Turtles.
There's a movie.
Just the 1987 Turtles.
No, yeah. They did the original Turtles, Eastman and Laird Turtles. Like,
that's a movie. That's Turtles Forever. There is one episode. He's right. There's one episode where they cross over with the 87, but it's just
there's 2 episodes. There's 2 episodes where they crossed over with 87. One of them they had 87 characters in CG render, and then the other one they went to the Turtles planet and it was all hand drawn, flat animation.
Right. But then there was because, you know, like towards the end they got real choppy with episodes, right? Like it danced around, like things got skipped a lot. There's definitely one where they brought in other variations, not just the 87s.
I'd have to go back and watch it because I watched it with my son. The last
episode. I remember it being like, it was the 2012 Turtles were there.
That's the movie. That's the movie, Turtles Forever.
No, so Turtles Forever was 03, 87, and comic book.
Yes,
2012 wasn't involved.
Yeah, that's what I remember, the 2012s being there and dealing with the original black and white Turtles as well. Unless I'm in like a Mandela effect, I remember that, and them all going after the Technodrome.
That was the Turtles Forever movie, Chris.
Okay, you keep saying that, and I respect
what I'm saying.
But the 2012 Turtles were there, so something came out in 2003. How the fuck were the 12s?
One moment.
Like, how the fuck is that a thing? Either way, what pissed me off was that.
So 2012 couldn't have been. Sorry, man. I'll cut you off just because we can put this to rest. So 2012 Turtles could not have been in it because the movie came out in 2009.
He's talking about something different.
There's like, no, I know he is, but I'm talking about.
There's like an episode or at least 2 episodes, and I think it was like an extended episodes for them. But whatever. What pisses me off though, and they did it also in the movie, in that Forever movie too, is that they play off the original 87 Turtles being completely ridiculously over the top corny. Like, they sell them to be childish. When you compare the shows, the recent shows and the movies rendition of what the 87 was versus when you watch the actual 87 episodes, they do a dishonor to the 87 Turtles horribly.
Yeah, so okay, I looked it up, and again, I understand the internet is not always right.
100% accurate?
Yeah. But it says that the 2012 show did not, but I know Chris collected the IDW comics, and apparently they did a couple of issues of the comics where the 2012, the 87, the original Eastman and Laird comics were all in the comic book.
They did that too, yeah.
But according to the internet, there was never a crossover between the original comic Turtles and the 2012 because Nickelodeon thought it would be too dark. And the reason they thought it would be too dark is because when the 2003 show did it, they made the original comic Turtles so super dark and serious, like Chris was saying, and Nickelodeon's like, yeah, I don't know that we need that in our show. So
I can remember watching it on Nickelodeon.
So
with the 12 Turtles there.
I looked up just like Psycho did, and I saw that 2012, to your point, Chris, they did cross over with the 87 Turtles because they colored 2012s in the same animation colors as 87. So it looked like single page art or whatever,
they did that in one episode, then they did a different episode where it was the opposite.
Two-dimensional, whatever it was,
But still, the whole point of what I'm saying is that they always make the 87 Turtles look like a bunch of childish buffoons.
Yeah.
Well, it was lighthearted, yeah.
Point. That's the whole fucking point.
But it was never dark. It's so I have to take it. Well, I have to take the 87 line for what it is, right? The 87 Turtles were exactly what they were designed to be, which was to be child-oriented, lighthearted. There can't be controversy. People aren't, dying per se in it. That's why the Foot are robots. They went as far as to show mutations, and that was pretty much it. But it had to get as far away from the grit of the comic book as they possibly could, but still have the characters and appeal to the kids. And there's a whole other thing, like I was telling you about earlier, that I absolutely have to bring up once we get to that point about the movies and stuff like that.
But that's perfect. Like I said, I get it. I understand that. But the whole point is that those, whenever they bring over the 87s to any of them, they overplay the 87's childishness. They make them all seem like they're idiots.
Like in Turtles Forever, it was so bad.
Yeah.
It was a great movie, but it was so bad how over the top they were.
Yeah, they did the same thing with 2012. They make them look like they were such buffoons.
Yeah.
And it's like they weren't that childish. Like they were childish. Like it was a children's show, but they weren't that bad. Like y'all need to calm down.
Do you think we're just not?
That pisses me off about the 2012 cartoon that they did that.
Do you think that we're just not remembering the original 87 show as corny as it was, or because
because I've gone back and watched the 87 show and it's not as bad as the later series crossover make them out to be.
It's
now maybe later in the seasons, but like the first season of the original cartoon, they were not like that.
So you go back and watch.
The first 2 or 3 seasons of the original Ninja Turtle show was absolutely amazing. They did as best they could for turning a dark, mature comic book into a cartoon show. That first season, I'll put those 6 episodes up against almost anything because they were fantastic.
So those first 6 episodes,
that's what I was going to throw out there.
All I remembered from Ninja Turtles until like 6 years ago when I actually went back and rewatched the series. Like, if anybody, like, I'm a huge Turtle fan, like, what do you remember? You know when they caught the warthog and they made Bebop and Rock, like, oh yeah, the first 6 episodes. That's all I remember from my childhood.
That's a great episode too, man. You get to see Roadkill Rodneys and all that shit.
It was like like every episode, like it played out like one giant movie. Like it was just
you
like,
ever feel like
continuing.
They spent less time on the animation as the series progressed.
So like I said, like maybe the over the top cartooniness is reflective of the later in the series, but it's never the Turtles I remember as a kid. And like I said, I've gone back and rewatched, especially the earlier episodes, and they're not that cartoony. Over the top and like buffoons.
I've been trying to get through that original show. I watched the first like 4 or 5 seasons, and it starts to get a little buffoony, like you're saying. But I think that was a kind of reaction to people in Europe who they weren't allowed to have weapons. They weren't allowed to be called ninjas. They couldn't do all these things, and so maybe that was part of the problem.
So I like the first, not to be like, cliche or whatever, but I like the first episode, if only because you can tell that was a way of introducing and saying, we're going to make this work. We're not going to make it so kiddie that people don't want to watch it, but at the same time, we're going to make it just lighthearted enough that kids will want to watch it. So when I saw the first episode, I watched it with Damien. I say this every time. I say this anytime I talk to somebody about it. Doesn't matter what it is. It's the part where they're getting ready to fight them on the rooftop, and they just finally realize, oh shit, the foot soldiers are just robots. And Michelangelo loses his shit, man, and he rips off his jacket. He's like, robots, let's rock! And the animation scene of him coming down with the nunchuck swirling, I'm like, why didn't they animate the whole damn series as well as they did that scene? And he jacks them up, dude.
And I love that because that's always been the...
I got chills now.
It's always been the thing that we've known since the first cartoon, right? Like, they made them robots so they could actually stab them and cut their heads off, and it's not graphic, right? But to have that moment in the cartoon where he's like, "Oh, they're robots. Let's go him on these things." It's amazing.
And he just loses his shit, and then that's it. That's it. Like, they get in there and it's like, "Oh shit, it's on now, dude. We don't have to worry about you seeing us.
We don't have to worry about you seeing us. We don't have to worry about murdering you." like one of the ways of the ninjas that you don't really kill people. Like, Splinter didn't want them killing people. Like, oh, we can destroy these robots.
You gotta fucking pull a Batman and not kill anybody.
Yeah, no, the comment about the favorite rendition being the 2007 movie, I think that movie gets a lot of hate for no reason. I really enjoyed it.
It's a great movie.
I enjoyed it.
I'm not a fan.
No?
Yeah.
I have a hard time figuring where it picks up, though. Like, I'm wrong to just think that, like, I can't figure out where the hell it's picking up from, because Leo's gone, Raph's doing the Night Watch thing, which is an IDW thing, right? Kinda, yeah. And that's another thing, man. I don't want to trail off, and I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. You could go talk about this forever, is that every adaptation of the Turtles, where it's the 03s, the 12s, not so much the 87s, but the 03s, the 12s, and so have you, they all seem to pull from IDW, or they pull from the comics, or they pull from whatever, and you start to see little bits and pieces as almost like homages in the series. So like this movie, I kind of felt the same thing. I'm like, okay, Leo's off doing shit in the jungle. Mikey's doing kids parties. I don't know where that comes from. Donnie's doing tech support.
That just reminds me of the Ghostbusters when they started doing
a little bit.
Parties.
And like their hype wore off, so now this is what they're doing. But the only one that, like, Raph being the Night Watch with Casey, that one made sense to me because I'm like, okay, that's from the IDW comics. So where were they trying to pull from the most? Because the characters they fought, that means nothing to me. That's like, that could have been late 87. I would have never known. I like it, but I don't know who the characters are.
So, I mean, I saw like an interview a couple of years ago where the guy who directed it said that he had planned it as sort of like a delayed sequel to Turtles 3. But then it wasn't really going to work out following that completely, so he did pull from other things, but that's why he put so much of the original Turtle movie trilogy into the film. So like in that scene when you go into Splinter's like dojo,
yes,
you have Shredder's mask, you have a bunch of the paraphernalia from the second movie, you have the time thing from the third movie, like all that stuff is there, and it's supposed to be carrying on like what would the Turtles have done when they got back from Japan, because all of them were different when they came back to present time from being in the past. And it was kind of like, well, they had to grow up, right? And so this was the director's idea of what that would look like.
That's fantastic. That answers a lot for me right off the rip. I didn't think about that.
So when it comes down to the actual topic, before we all got carried off.
Sorry, this is more interesting. Go ahead.
I mean, well, no, because you got to remember, when it comes to the 2012, you had Playmates did a really big line. They did practically everything from that show. But now you have NECA taking over, and you know what NECA can do.
Can we give Playmates their flowers for a moment? Those first 4 Turtles of the 2012 line that they released were probably some of the best figures they had ever released for Turtles.
But they weren't accurate at all to the cartoon.
They weren't, but they were still awesome.
I get it. Well, that one company did the best ones, man. Is it Schwartz or Schwartz, or I don't even know.
Tim will know. He says it all the time. He's always looking for them. It's not SH Fig Arts. It's the other company that does those types of figures.
Like, I'd like to have them too, man. They're.
I've got them up in the closet.
Is it Revoltech?
Rebel Tech, yes.
There you go. Yeah.
You have them, Weiz?
Yeah, I got them. Yeah. Because I'm a collector.
I got them. It's fine.
No, Chris has them because he's balling. Like
This motherfucker. This is the same cat who will him and haw on a $30 figure, but he's got a couple grand in grails sitting in the closet. Late grails, not even like scratch. This motherfucker has late grails.
You want to get real pissed? I got them for free. I ordered them off a website overseas, and they shipped them, and they hadn't gotten here in like 6 months.
So what you're saying is you want to trade for my scratch?
So I went to eBay, I'm like, hey, or PayPal, I'm like, hey, I haven't gotten these. It's been 6 months. They said they shipped them this long ago, gave them tracking, and then PayPal saw my side, had them refund me. The company emailed me threatening that I can never order from them again if I don't send them back the money. I'm like, it's been 6 months. And then like a week later, they showed up.
Wow. Holy shit, dude. That's awesome. Those are great, man. First of all, they're worth a fortune. Everybody wants them. I would equate them to what the first run of the Mondo 1/6 scale, whatever, turtles. I've got those, but those Rebel Techs are freaking great, man. They're a great set. I take bootlegs if I could find all four.
I think you can find them on. I feel like you can find them on Ally.
Ally's got Leo and they have Donnie. They never have Mikey and they never have Raph. It's kind of like the it's like the, I don't know why, but it's like the what the hell is it? What's the other ones I really want but I can't get? The DreamX turtles.
Oh yeah, those ones. Yeah.
It's the same thing. You can buy Raph and you can buy Leo on AliExpress, but you can't get Mikey, you can't get Donnie.
So, who of the 2012 cartoon are you looking forward to the most from NECA? Like, you know we're going to get the Turtles, you know we're going to get Foot, you know we're going to get a Splinter, but, like, other characters, it's basically going to be villains and all the side characters, right? Who are you looking forward to the most?
I can tell you somebody I really want that I hope they make, because they didn't make one for the 87 line. Pizza Face. The design of Pizza Face in the 2012 show was actually super cool. It wasn't just a guy who was ugly with a peg leg with a frickin' pizza box on it. It was a slice of
piece of pizza. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a slice of pizza, but it was super cool.
So, yes, I'll take a Pizza Face. That being said, I'm surprised that NECA, Super 7 haven't done a goddamn Pizza Face in their other lines yet. Like,
Playmates will do the re-release of the OG one, I think, at some point.
If Playmates does the OG, I want them to give him his fucking removable hat. Because he's supposed to have, like, a little, like, person or creature under his hat.
So, was that ever... Now, I've owned probably 15 Pizza Faces and sold them, but...
It never came out.
It was never a variant, right? It was never something like where his hat came off?
Yeah, no, it never came out.
So, I'd like to see the 2012, because he was badass. And I don't want to give spoilers, but maybe fuck it. If you haven't seen it by now, I'll just tell you, it's 2025. So, the 2012 series kind of drifts off with Splinter and the Super Shredder fighting. And that Super Shredder is so sick and gross and badass looking. I want that in a figure.
Now, see,
like, I love that Baxter. That's like the last couple episodes. Like, Baxter's like, he got his ass kicked. I don't remember what happened. Right? Shredder got his butt kicked by somebody, and then
monster.
And then like he tells Baxter to heal him, but use the mutagen. Right. And so like he gets like, you know, in true Shredder fashion, he gets pissed off and he goes, "I can't wait any longer. I have to go fight them." Well, he's like borderline disintegrating as he's fighting these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just to touch on what Scott said about Kevin Nash being Shredder in the Turtles too. Yeah, no, he was definitely Shredder, and that's why NECA made that variant that comes with a wrestling belt on the Shredder to pay homage to the fact that he was a WWF wrestler.
Is that the European one?
Yeah, it's like the colorful box, like kind of like a purple and orange.
Yeah, it's box. Super light. When you open it, he's like super light purple, pink, or whatever. Something they call it the European version.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they put like a belt on that resembles like a wrestling belt because it's Kevin Nash. So I really like, and me and John discussed this before, and I discussed it with him over the years, like why they never made it. I can't wait for NECA, because I know they'll do it, is the Creeper.
They better do it.
The swamp Jason Voorhees from when they ran off into the fucking countryside.
I gotta look that one up.
Oh, bro.
Really?
I can't think of it right now.
There's like 2 or 3 episodes where they were like really horror movie like related.
Yeah.
He was like a Jason Voorhees type villain.
Oh yeah. Well, okay, so wasn't, not to be weird, didn't he basically look like Casey and Muckman thrown together?
Or Jason Voorhees.
Yeah. I mean, he looked more like Jason to me, but he was wearing Casey's mask.
All right, maybe I'm fucked. Hold on.
Casey rendition, but
I'm gonna pull this up real quick. I'm gonna change screens.
But
why don't I remember the character? How many episodes was he in?
He was in 1 episode.
This guy?
Yeah, but he looked way better in the show.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's a custom print STL file. Yeah, but it's that character. Because he's out and he's just like in the forest, in the swampy forest, and they have to fight against him. Because it was like they did an episode with him, like either the episode before that or after that's where they had like those dream weavers, the dream beavers.
Giggity. Like right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a monster. And like the whole episode is like paying homage to Friday the 13th.
That's really cool.
So like but Playmates wouldn't make him because Nickelodeon got a lot of complaints that parents said that he was too scary of a character. So Playmates nixed the figure to ever release it. Like did they actually make a prototype figure? I remember seeing a prototype for that at one of the cons. They prototyped it, but it never came out because it was too scary for the children. So like I can't wait for that to eventually come out.
It makes you wonder though, because a lot of in my opinion, with the 2012 series, a lot of the mutants that they fought were pretty fucking horrifying looking. Like some of the darker ones.
Watch that episode again. He was kind of over the top in comparison to the rest. It was a very horror episode.
But you saw the end of the series, right? Where like they're in the wasteland.
Yeah.
It's post-apocalyptic and everything. And so a lot of homages to Playmates figures that they had made for sure. But that's the great thing about 2012, man. Like I'm not saying it was like ideal, but they ripped from everything. And not like negatively. It was all Turtles, but they ripped from all of the universes and genres and put it in 2012. So you had homage to almost everything. Dude, I mean, come on. Raph is driving a truck, dressed as the Night Watcher, almost like a Last Ronin-y style feel.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's shifting gears with a fucking bomb that's Casey's skull. That doesn't bother kids?
Nope, bro. Watch the episode again. It was very... I'm surprised he did the Dream Beavers, because the Dream Beaver episodes were very horror-esque episodes, too.
That's one of the things that worries me about NECA making the 2012 line, because we know what's going to happen. We're going to get like 8 billion variants of the Turtles, and some of them are going to be super cool, like when they were out in the woods and like the 3rd or 4th season, and they have that like ninja outfits where they blend into the trees and stuff. We're going to get that. We're going to get the one where they dressed up to do the live action role playing in that one episode. You know we're going to get that. You know we're going to get
the... That's kind of cool, though.
It was.
You know we're going to get Michelangelo as the, what do you call it? The turf idol or whatever it was. We're going to get that.
Well, when he was the great, the Mexican guy, what was he called? In the fucking Wasteland series.
Oh, I don't remember the name.
But it was
I don't remember what he was called.
Something real like stereotypical, like I hate to say it, but it was like he was like the Maraca or something like that, something very like Mexican. And then Raphael was like this big burly guy, and then Leo ended up being the fucking mutant, and then Donnie was Metalhead. Essentially, he was Metalhead.
Yeah, because he was killed, like in the IDW comic.
That exactly my point. They did such a good job, man, of incorporating things from other shows.
Like, I'm not worried about NECA making variants, because I just won't buy the variants I don't want, right? Like, I don't give a shit. I want them to make all the villains.
Agreed.
Because NECA does such an amazing job. And when you look at how deep they went in characters in the original cartoon line, I'm not afraid that they won't touch on a certain character. I just want to see these characters, sooner than later.
And I think you and I,
Baxter's Big Mouser.
I think that you and I talked about this last week a little bit, but I want to see multiple versions, right? So, like, I want Spider Bites, but I also want him as a human because for most of the episode, where the first time you see him, he's just Lewis Black being obnoxious with his cell phone, right? And so I want that character. I want Bradford and Zever as people as well. Like, I want to see that stuff because I think that those would be really cool figures.
Now, see, I can see NECA doing them because obviously they did Rocksteady and Bebop's gang members before they were mutated and afterwards. Everything. Like, I see them doing it. I'd probably get them. I hate myself for buying them, but I don't need them on. Like, I just need the turtles. Like, the only non-mutants I want for my collection is like Shredder, Casey, and April. Everybody else, give me the fucking mutants.
What about Baxter? You don't want Baxter in that little like robot, the tiny robot he was first, where he's got like that armor suit?
Not really. Just give me his mutated form.
Nope, I need that, and I need the little one with Jeff Goldblum.
Well, you know what? You're right. The mutated, like the big metal suit with like just his head in there.
Yeah,
I can get that. I can get behind because he's not just a normal person.
Yeah,
he's a fucking android basically. But and like I told you before, or the other day we were talking about it, like they released 2 of those damn beavers. I want all 4 beavers.
I'm sorry.
You don't remember the Dream Beavers?
No.
One of them was voiced by Robert Englund.
Yeah.
Holy shit! What the hell?
And then one of them was voiced by the guy who I can't remember his name, but the guy who voiced Chucky.
Is this an episode I missed?
Yeah, it was another horror-themed episode, like Chris was talking about, where they were having nightmares, and they went into their nightmare, and they discovered that there are these mystical beavers, right, that like haunt people's dreams and do like weird stuff in there and make you crazy. And so it was 4 of them, and one of them was voiced by Robert Englund, one of them was voiced by the guy who voiced Chucky, and the other 2 were also horror movie alumni, but I don't remember who they were.
I gotta go back and see this shit. I've watched this like 3 times with Damien, and so far 2 episodes. I'm like, now there's a lot of episodes to the show.
Well, there was a lot of episodes to the show because even like when you're talking about the Wasteland, I'm like, I remember seeing them, but I don't remember the details of them.
So I don't remember either thing you're telling me. But here's the thing: I'll probably watch it and be like, oh yeah, I remember that.
So one beaver is blue, one is red, one is purple, and one is orange, and they all have different symbols on their chest.
And
so like
Playmates only did 2 of them, 2 of the 4.
You have Dave Beaver, Dark Beaver, Dread Beaver, and Dire Beaver. Those were their names.
I feel like I need a T-shirt now, but all right,
you can go back. But like,
that's crazy, dude.
Like honestly, NECA could be like, oh, we're giving you Turtles, Foot, Shredder, Splinter, Creeper, and the Beavers. I'd be good. Don't give me anything else. I'm happy because I got those fucking ones. It finishes what Playmates didn't give me. I'm a happy man.
I have to have Slash only because he's my guy.
Oh yeah, he's a massive. He'd be.
He's a big fucker, but I also need the pet turtle that Raphael had in the 2012.
Spike?
Huh?
Was his name Spike?
Spike, yeah.
Yes. I want Spike, but I want Big Spike too.
One of my favorite moments in that show is when Splinter's trying to like talk to Raph about his anger, and Raph's not listening. He's like, I don't want to hear this, and Splinter's like, hey Spike, chew your leaf if you want me to tell the story. And then Turtle like chews the leaf. He's like, okay, and he keeps telling him anyway.
Like Damien loves Ice Cream Kitty, and there's a part where Ice Cream Kitty is playing. Mikey is playing like call it Pokemon, right? Because it's pretty much what it is. He's playing Pokemon with Ice Cream Kitty, and Ice Cream Kitty drops like this fucking card, and he's like, "What? No way!" He like got beat, and so like Ice Cream Kitty like gets all his fucking cards, and we love that fucking character, man. It's great, and they do homage to him in the game Shredder's Revenge at some point. Just a cool character in general.
He comes with Mikey. He comes with the 2012 Mikey.
Oh, the new one coming out? Yeah. For that
Yeah, I don't think originally he came with Ice Cream Kitty at all. I think Ice Cream Kitty was his own figure.
No, bro, I swear. Like, I swear I bought a fucking variety pack that had Ice Cream Kitty in it. But according to even Pixel Dan, it never got released. I just swear I had that fucking pack. from Playmates. But Pixel Dan says it's not a real thing, and if anybody knows turtles, it's Pixel fucking Dan.
Hold the fuck up.
So, all right, before we get into move on to Transformers, Scott has asked a couple questions, or even he asked a question. I just want to touch on it real quick. He's asking if you guys personally believe that the 90s had the best movies or better than today's stuff. He thinks the 2000s were okay. I don't know. Like, I feel my opinion on the 90s movies is obviously jaded by nostalgia because I was a kid growing up with it. So I don't even know if I can really say that it's better than what we get now. My nostalgia says it's better.
Well, and he's very broad, so he says like the best movies, right? So that could be so many things. So here's my feeling. Just like every generation, as technology progresses, the ability to make a good movie progresses, right? So in the 70s, you had some horror, you had Jaws, you had Aliens, right? Aliens was what, 79, 78?
Alien, yeah.
Alien, I'm sorry, 78, 79. So you had movies that could do so much with the technology they had, and they were good movies. Then you got into the 80s, and the 80s had different technology to be able to make movies, right? So I don't gauge a movie on whether or not the complexity or what have you was good. Was it a good story, and was it a good concept? And so I will say that as you get further down the line, and as norms change, as what's accepted changes, in the 80s, blood, gore, guts, and shit was awesome. You could have that. It was rampant. Nobody cared. You got into the 90s, kind of the same thing. But then they wanted edge, and they wanted, like, darker, and they wanted, like, more complex on the screen, right? We demanded more visual for the times. So now we're in the 2000s, and I think now what we have is, yes, we have good movies, but I think we have, our technology is so advanced that it's like, oh, that doesn't look real enough, or, you know, that's not this or that's not that. And so I think that up to the 90s, I think they're better thought out films because technology does a lot for us 2000s going forward.
Yeah, going off what you said, yeah, it feels like obviously 2000s and beyond.
Psycho's grinning a lot, and I think I see a nipple in his glasses.
Okay. So,
unfortunately, no.
Maybe he just saw one of the variants.
Sorry.
So going off what you said, 2000s and beyond, the technology of computer-generated imaging became so rampant that a lot of movies seem like they focused on that and they balanced their whole movie based on that versus, oh, we need to have a good story. Oh,
I
people,
agree.
if they just see, you know, great visual effects, it's like, okay, but we still want a good story. Whereas Jaws needed a story because their fucking shark broke. Alien needed a story. Like, the graphics weren't there to be, like, they had to have a good story, and that good story sold the graphics you were missing.
So we talked about this. So what was it, 10 or 15 minutes that the shark is in and the alien is in either movie?
Yeah, it's probably even less for the shark.
And Jaws got you with the audio, right? Like the creepiness of the audio in the water. You don't know what's going on. When I watched Alien, not Aliens, but Alien as a kid, what got me about that movie is you're in the dark. You don't know what's coming and where it's coming from. And that was enough to scare you. And then when you saw the alien, you're like, Jesus Christ. Like, and then you saw Sigourney Weaver in her underwear, and you're like, Jesus Christ. So, like, there was, you know, two ways that you got scared.
Well, yeah, because that's what they had to do, right? Like, they didn't, like I said, they didn't have all the graphics. Everything was practical.
The cat was cool.
Of course you think the cat's cool. Like, you got them running around in, like, fucking buildings made out of, like, cardboard, like a ship, right? Like, you have to have the good story to make people not pay attention to the fumbles around it. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, I guess I kind of look at movies differently, right? Like, I'll enjoy a movie if it's entertaining. I'm not going in looking for masterpiece cinema or anything else. But also, I mean, and Tony said this essentially already, where the question is incredibly ambiguous, right? Like, in what way are we measuring these films? Like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about spectacle? Are we talking about story? Are we talking, you know, what is it? And I think that you can kind of break films down into what was most popular during the decade, right? So in the 80s, it was buddy cops, right? Like the films in the 80s. The films in the 80s, there were so many buddy cop movies. You had 48 Hours. You had Lethal Weapon, right? You had...
well, let's be honest. Lethal Weapon is the only one that matters. So.
I mean, in my opinion, is the best one. But you also had other films, right?
You had Beverly Hills Cop, right? I guess that's...
Well, you had Beverly Hills Cop. You had...
Yep.
I don't know if you really want to equate it in the same genre, but you had...
Police Academy.
Police Academy
Police Academy, yep.
And then RoboCop got darker, but it wasn't really buddy cop. Well, it was, but it wasn't, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's what the era was, right? So there was gore and there was violence and there was a ton of nudity. Like that's the thing that stands out to me most about 80s movies. When you go back and watch them, there's nudity in almost every movie. In every movie, there's somebody's got to be naked,
and for no reason.
Yeah,
and I totally agree with that.
And it's just like
I have no problem with it.
No, it's not that there's a problem with it. It's just like Tony said, like the movie would be going along, and then all of a sudden someone was naked, right? Like it doesn't fit in with the story. Nothing's really going on.
No, Return of the Living Dead.
But it depends on the movie, right? If you're watching a horror, you knew they were gonna die. It was like a marker.
But I want to touch on the nudity part. Sorry. So Return of the Living Dead. One of my favorite movies of all time by far. And actually, Gianna watched it the other day, and she goes, "Dad, it's so bad, it's good." And I'm like, watch the rest of them. But we're sitting there watching. I've seen Return of the Living Dead a million times, and there is a part where, and I always forget her fucking name until I tell the story, and I remember her name. But she plays Trash, and they're all like partying in the cemetery for whatever fucking reason, and
because why not?
She's sitting on the ground, and she's sitting next to this dude who looks like a fucking really bad version of Tom Cruise, but it's not Tom Cruise. Everybody swore it was Tom Cruise in a suit, and it wasn't him. And then, Lariana Quigley, that's her name. It always happens when I'm telling the story. So she's sitting there. She's got like knee-high socks on, or thigh-high socks. She's got a pair of shorts. Her hair's like fucking orange. I don't know what she's wearing for the top. I can't remember. But all of a sudden, she's like, "You ever just feel like you need to take your clothes off?" And she just gets up out of nowhere while this music's playing, strips down, bare naked except for her damn socks, and she's dancing on top of like a mausoleum.
A good look.
And it's she's butt-ass naked. They didn't hold anything back with this. She's like, "You like what you see? Because this is what I'm doing for the next 5 minutes."
But I mean, so like Chris said, in a horror movie, you kind of expect that. But like, let's look at Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon opens with nudity, right? It's that saxophone playing, and then there's a girl waking up, and she stands up, and she's topless, right? And then you follow her around her apartment, and she ends up diving out the window. But it's like, that has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. Like, obviously, it's a case that they have to solve. But what I mean is, like,
saxophone, you usually do it topless.
She's like,
He's gonna hit all the keys accurately. Like, those
she's walking around with a trombone. It'd be weird. So. Topless with a trombone. I need a new shirt.
She's not playing the saxophone; it's in the background, right?
All right. Have you ever listened to Kenny G? Like everything.
I've never listened to Kenny G topless with walking around my apartment.
Oh my goodness.
But no, you're right though. There was a lot of just. It seemed like once they knew they had that R rating, they're like, "Oh, we gotta throw titties in there."
It's gratuitous nudity for no reason.
We're just celebrating the R rating. Titties for all.
I never had a problem with it.
No.
Oh man.
You know who doesn't have nudity? Transformers. That's a good segue, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're all robots.
I mean, RC's got titties.
Which is still all right. So I think that needs to be addressed. All right. So forget about RC having tits, right? I get it. If you're gonna have a female robot, they have to be able to differentiate somehow.
So it has to be addressed that there's no nudity in Transformers?
No. That why are there female Transformers? Is it because think about it, right? They're just robots. So there's not necessarily a gender assigned to any kind of a robot in any
It
way, shape,
sounds
or
like
form.
you're assuming their genders. Is what it sounds like.
I'm assuming the fuck out of their gender, and for all y'all who woke, I don't care. So, you got robots, right? It's like nobody stopped and said, Optimus Prime, are you sure you're not a woman? No. RC comes out, and all of a sudden it's a woman in the movie, and I'm like, as a kid, I never understood it. I'm like, well, why? And none of this other stuff had ever come out. So as a kid, I'm like, why is RC a girl? Do they have girl Transformers? Where do girl Transformers come from? Do they make
Now
them?
ask a
Do
bunch of
a
questions.
mommy and a daddy Transformer get together and they have a baby Transformer? Where the hell does the woman come from? And then they put like Transformer boobs on her, and I'm like, is she
And they're
doing
very,
something
like-
with Transformer boobs?
But they're very like 95, like fucking Tomb Raider quality.
Oh, they're all like squared out and shit. Well, it's like, and then it's funny because now they're making toys, and of course, Masterpiece Toys, all these great toy lines that come out. They're like Transformers are so articulated and crazy and wild. RC all of a sudden is running around in thongs with these huge Transformer knockers, and
Well, I
she's
mean-
just like, you've got the touch, like.
Didn't the Devastator have huge balls?
That's true.
Yes, he did in the movie, right?
Yeah, John Turturro's all
Well, he
directly.
was devastate her, HER.
But obviously, they made a girl Transformer to hopefully get the girl audience, right? And then to open up a new realm out of just the boy market. But they only did it with like one, so like, it didn't really do much.
Yeah, but I mean, I
It's like
think
Smurfs. Like, there's only one female Smurf. There's one female Autobot. Like, that's it.
that history supports that sort of thing, right? So like I never looked at it like Tony did, but I remember reading The Lord of the Rings when I was a kid, and you have Treebeard, right? And for people who have seen the movie, in the second movie you have the Ent Treebeard, and he talks about the Ent wives, right? And so you could kind of ask that same question. Well, why would there be female trees, right? Like,
Right,
they
it
not
doesn't
called
make
Trents?
sense to me.
what do you say, Chris?
Are they not called Trents? I thought they were Trents.
No, no.
Like tree ants, because they walk.
They're called Ents.
But is it spelled with a T?
No.
What is going on right now? Can you let him finish? Because I got lost way back. I heard trees are having sex and they're not women or something.
No,
Go
but
ahead.
there are male and female trees.
I mean, but the point is, right, like if you have just living trees, what would be the point of having the Ent wives, right? Like, why would there be female trees? It's the same thing.
Need
So
to
I guess
pollinate. If there was no female and male trees, what would be the purpose of bees?
that's not how trees work.
That's not how pollination works at all. what?
I mean, it's kind of how pollination works. For flowers.
Oh my god, dude.
Because they take the pollen, they go over to the other one, the pollen gets put there, and then it helps pollinate, and it goes more.
A
Like,
bee
it's-
drops down to the
that's
flower,
what bees
fucks
do.
that flower, and picks it up and goes fucks another flower, and now you have flowers.
That's exactly. Bees are like the succubus of the insect world.
That's the way I
They
understand it.
are.
And the honey is the jizz.
Precisely.
And this is why we'll never get monetized.
And trees, there's definitely male and female trees because there's like. You
I'm gonna get
find,
some
like, a
ice and
mango
cool down my
tree.
conversation. You guys keep going.
You can find like a mango tree that doesn't produce fruit because it's like one of the different like there's the male and there's the female. For rough words, there's no better word I can think of at the moment. But there's male and female versions of trees, and they need each other to produce more of the trees.
Well, they need each other to produce more fruit. It's not that they can't fruit. It's that if you're not getting the pollination from the insects, then you need the pollination from the wind. But there's not a male tree and a female tree.
No, but there's trees that don't produce fruit, and they're considered one or the other. Like
Wait.
there's mango trees that don't produce mangoes. It's because they're this version that is needed by the ones that produce the fruit to be able to fruit.
Are we gonna spend as much time on fucking fruit trees?
There's
I would-
transformers.
I would prefer not to.
Can we move on?
Somehow, somehow we got segued into gendered Transformers.
Well, I heard transgender fruit trees and mangoes, like with I don't know.
Transformers don't need genders. They made it so the girl audience could have something to like.
I disagree, but yes.
Oh, okay. Why the fuck would they make a girl Transformer?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So when you assume the gender, no, I'm just kidding. Good. We're good. Let's move on, please, for the love of Christ on a cracker.
So,
All right, so
this is y'all's topic. Have fun with Transformers. I'm just gonna say stupid shit.
yeah. So I guess kind of what I was talking to Chris about is I thought we could have an interesting conversation because you seem to be very much a Gen 1, right? Like a G1 Transformer fan. And while I grew up with G1 Transformers, I was never really into them. I had older cousins who really liked Transformers. One of my older cousins had every G1 toy. He probably still does somewhere, but like he had every single one. And I remember like he always had them displayed in his room, and he was, I don't know, 15, 20 years older than me. But like he loved Transformers, and I could never get into it. It wasn't until Beast Wars where I was like, okay, now this is the kind of Transformers show that I'm interested in, right? Like this, there was something about Beast Wars that kind of pulled me in as a fan where G1 just never did it for me.
Because they were animals.
I mean, it could be that because I watched G1 and I thought some of the designs were cool. I even owned a couple of the toys. One of the toys I had that I can remember was the fire truck that they had.
Inferno.
So I had the fire truck and I thought that design was cool. But I was never really interested. And then in '96 we had Beast Wars, and it kind of changed everything.
So Beast Wars. So all right. So here's the deal. So
cool.
when you had G1 Transformers, they came out as a competition for GoBots, and they didn't come out quick enough. And so, like 6 months later, Transformers hit the shelves. Now, the difference they had over, or the competition, or whatever it's called, the advantage they had, over GoBots, was that they were more complex. Were they more expensive? Yes. But they were more impressive in your hand, once transformed, so on and so forth. The scale was bigger. GoBots were basically blister pack, 3 3/4. Let's just call them the G.I. Joes of Transformers, as weird as that sounds.
Makes sense.
3 3/4 toys. They didn't vary in size. They all fit in a 3 3/4 blister pack. They were cheap to produce, cheap to put them on shelf, and they transformed in like 2 clicks. It was like, boop, arms out, he's transformed. Transformers had work to go, like to get where you want it to be. But the first result and the end result were very particular. So like Soundwave looked like an honest to God cassette recorder if you were holding it.
Yeah.
And then he transformed him and he was a robot. Well, if you did the equivalent in a GoBot, it was, yeah, this looks really cool as whatever it's supposed to be, a car or a helicopter, whatever. Notice it didn't make anything else. It was cars, helicopters, tanks, small things like that.
Yeah.
But when you transformed it to a robot, it was just arms and a foot. Transformers went beyond that. They took it one step further. And Takara had everything to do with that. And because Takara had so many other lines that were so well received and so well done, they could do more with Transformers. And so the G1 toys that came out were mostly Diaclone retags or rebrands to make Transformers. But then the movie came out, and when they killed off the original line, and they fucked it up bad, they killed off the original line, they had this whole new wave of Transformers. Now, I've never seen another company that's done that. No other company has ever come out and said, hey, everything you bought I'll make up a year, right? 1985. It's gone. That doesn't exist anymore. 86 and up, or you're not in this anymore. So it was a whole new wave of characters. The problem was, OG kids were like, I don't like these new ones. I don't know these guys. They're not in the show. It was a whole new show. The show was terrible. So that's how they started losing Transformers. So when it got to, I'll call it season 2, right? Whenever season 2 took off with the new character line after the movie, they started losing all their fans. They started coming out with all these like Hail Mary fucking hope it sticks toys that were so stupid. Nobody cared about. Poor quality, kind of like G.I. Joe. They were grasping at straws and they went to crap. Beast Wars comes out. and G1 fans lost their fucking minds because these characters come out, they're people we know, but it's all new characters too. It's in 3D, which blew everybody's minds, and then they did such a great job with the writing that they started pulling in characters from the G1 line to tell the story, and that absolutely captured people like me. I watched it avidly with my brother like crazy. We couldn't get enough of it because they pulled so much back in from the regular G1 line. That's why Beast Wars did so damn well.
And I think, like you said, that they were very, very good with the story when they were writing it. And sure. I think that it was definitely it was masterful how at the end, and again, I mean, spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen it, but at the end you find out in the last season that they're actually on Earth. Like they'd hinted at it in season 2, like Dinobot's like,
kind of get the vibe, yeah.
Dinobot's like,
wasn't there cavemen? At one point, weren't there like cavemen?
So there were later on in season 3. Well, right before season 3 started, there were cave people because Dinobot dies saving them. But before that, Dinobot looks at the golden disc, which you haven't seen since the first episode.
I forgot about that.
When he got upset with Megatron and he took the disc and he left the Predacons, and then it all comes back. It's like, oh wait, this actually is Earth. And then they find the Ark, right? And Megatron finds the original G1 Ark and attempts to kill Optimus Prime to kind of erase the Autobots and the Maximals from history. And Optimus is like, well, I got to try to save him, and puts the spark in his chest, and it turns him into like that badass hybrid of Optimus Prime and then the Optimus Primal mode from season 2.
Isn't that wild, though, if you think about it? G1, Megatron, the first episode, right? I think it's the first episode. Megatron and the Nemesis is chasing the Ark, and they shoot him down.
Yep.
And they crash on Earth. And when you watch the original G1 show, you don't, as a kid, you don't really pick up on, oh, this is Earth, and like they crash landed somewhere, you assume it's Earth.
Yeah.
Then when they're coming back to life, in your head you're like, oh, this is recent, this is current. You don't realize in your head, this is thousands of years later that they're coming to life. So when you watch Beast Wars as a kid my age, right, when I was watching the shows, you're like, oh, it's a mind fuck. As soon as they find the Ark, you're like, holy shit. And that whole Beast Wars series wraps together. And that's why I say those writers, whoever wrote that series, fucking nailed it.
And I also wanted to bring up, because you mentioned this on another one of the podcasts. I don't remember if it was Collector's Hideout or if it was Drinks and Toys, but you talked about how Starscream showed up in Beast Wars. And it was awesome because Pterosaur was supposed to be the Starscream like stand-in, right? And then he actually gets taken over by the spark of Starscream and tries to screw over Megatron, and it just doesn't work out for him.
Yeah, the Ghost of Starscream, that's the episode, and it is absolutely one of my favorites. So he actually takes over Waspinator for like a second, and I think he says something like, this guy's an idiot, and then he moves on to Pterosaur because Waspinator just got blown. We said this.
He's the comedy
Kenny.
Yeah.
He's the Kenny of Beast Wars. He just keeps getting blown up. In fact, the toy actually was the same way. It would just come apart. But that's fucking wild, man. That was really cool.
But I mean, there was just something about that show, because I've gone back and watched G1, and I understand why people like it. But even now, as an adult, knowing what I know, I can't get into it, right? Like, some of the designs are awesome. Peter Cullen as the voice of Optimus Prime is absolutely amazing.
So okay, I'm gonna ask a question. Obviously, I didn't watch those shits. So what you've just said is new to me. To know that Beast Wars takes place so far in the past that there's like cave people, right?
Well, it takes place in the future, and then they get teleported to the past, and they didn't realize that they went back in time.
Right, so they're a future race of Transformers, and then they get shot. They weren't beasts to begin with. They get shot back in time, way back in time, right?
Right.
To, I guess, where the Ark crashed. So where the G1 series actually starts, they get crash landed there. Hold on. It doesn't intersect with the G1 series except for the fact that they're on a different part of the planet, I guess you could say, or something. And then they instead of taking on cars and stuff like that, because they're not at that time era, they're back in the prehistoric times.
Right.
They take on the personas of beasts, and then when they get to the end of the series, Megatron realizes like, hey, this is the Ark. These are the Autobots that crash landed here, and I guess go from there.
Yeah.
Okay, so then G1, right? First, our timeline. G1, you obviously have Optimus Prime, you have Megatron, and all the other supporting Transformers.
Yep.
So Beast Wars takes place after that, but they get sent back in time.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's why I thought it was gonna be the other way. Like they were on Earth years in advance, then something happened, and they woke up again. And then
So
those cars, those turn to trucks and tanks.
in the original
Monkeys.
in the original G1 show, you had the Autobots and the Decepticons, and then the characters in Beast Wars have evolved past that. So they don't really tell you how much time has passed, but Autobots and Decepticons don't exist anymore. Now you have Maximal.
The fight is still there, but
Yeah, but they're different now. They've evolved. And so in this show, you have a new Optimus Prime, called Optimus Primal, and then you have Megatron, and now they are the leaders. But the thing is, Megatron in the show is actually the leader of the Predacons, and Optimus Primal is just a soldier. Like he's just like a lieutenant or a colonel. He's not really the leader.
he's not the one in charge.
Maximals.
They just call him Big Bot.
So
Cheetor calls him Big Bot.
they're chasing Megatron's ship because he stole something, and then Megatron, he turns on his like warp thing or whatever, and they follow him in, and they think that they're just going to a different planet. So when they crash, they think that they're on some uncharted planet because none of their scanners work.
So he
and
went
it turns out later,
speed and crashed a planet into a planet.
Crash a ship into a planet.
Damn, that's what you get for going to Ludicrous. You never go Ludicrous.
But he's it was so cool. I mean, but also at the same time, it kind of ended the show, right? Like they knew what they were gonna do. They knew the show was only gonna go for this much time, and so the show ended, and people were like, "No, we can't. You can't end this. The show is great." And then they gave us that crappy Beast Machines, which was terrible. No, so Transmetals
was that
Transmetals. Beast Machines came after season 3. Transmetals was a form of Transformer that happened at the end of season 1 when the aliens blew up all their devices, right? Like, because they were going to try to destroy the planet, and they put Optimus in a pod, and he was going to try to go up there and disarm it, but Megatron double-crossed him and locked him in the pod and then crashed it into the planet, and it blew up.
Sounds like something Megatron would do.
That caused some of the Transformers on the planet, the Maximals and the Predacons, to essentially suffer radiation, and that radiation turned some of them into Transmetals. And then later on, you got the Transmetal 2s, which were also cool.
So here's the crazy thing. All of those toys, the Transmetals, the Transmetal 2s, are worth more than some of the G1 Transformers because they were so fucking rare in production. It's kind of like the G2 Transformers. They were so rare in production, most of those are worth more than G1s.
But were they vac metal?
What?
Were they vac metalized or anything? Like, is there like anything special?
They were metallic flaked.
Yeah,
they had like
they were
metallic
looking, yeah. But like you could buy, so like Rat Trap, Transmetal Rat Trap was Rat Trap, but he was like chromed out. His head was blue. He had like wheels for some fucking reason.
Had wheels. Yep.
Yeah, and then so they packaged him. So I mean, you can eBay it right now. But if you want a Transmetal Rat Trap, last I looked for his comps, he was something like $180 for a packaged Transmetal Rat Trap. And a lot of those early Beast Wars, early Transmetals, all that stuff, the show was so short-lived, it wasn't mass-produced like Transformers G1 was.
Yeah.
Now, the only reason G1 Transformers are worth anything in the box, in my opinion, is because, well, it's 2025. The shit came out in 84, 85.
Yeah.
So they're fucking, 50 years old. They're hard to get. But Beast Wars in the 90s, it's 35 years.
50 years old?
He meant 40. He meant 40.
Thank you.
I'm 44. I don't know. It's fucking old. In any case, it's like 40 years old. but the toys are old, and so that's why those are expensive.
Yeah.
You get a toy, it's 40 years old in the box, it's expensive, but I don't care what it is. But the newer I say newer, but the Beast Wars and all stuff, although they're not that old,
They're
ish.
30 years now.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong, I guess. Yeah, like
That's how math
I
works.
guess my point is they're not old enough to be worth, what G1 Transformers should be going for. But because they were so rare production, they're worth a fortune. Well, listen, there's a black G2. There's a black Sideswipe. Because you had Sideswipe and Sunstreaker. I think it's Sideswipe. A black Sideswipe that is worth like $500 if he's on a card, and it's a G2.
There's a
G1, like, is G1 really like the less? I don't know how to word it. Like, of the Transformers toys, obviously G1's the first, and people want it because it's the first. But quality-wise, is it on the lower end versus some of the future stuff?
What do you, I guess you have to be very
Like-
specific about future,
or like
because-
some of the newer stuff. Is it better than G1? But G1 is just G1 because it's the first, so people love it more for nostalgia.
So my opinion, I'm very broad right now, right? So when you talk about is it better, so is the brand new S86 Devastator better than the OG? Well, yeah, of course it looks better, it articulates better, it does better because we have different technology, but the original Devastator will still hold that true homage to Devastator we were able to buy as a kid back then. So I can't say that it's better. I can say that it's different, but that's about it.
Are you talking about quality or are you talking about like performance?
What's
Because
up, Jan?
I think just what people like, right? Because I'm a little inebriated, so follow me on this. No, because I'm trying to figure out, like, if I've heard a lot of complaints about G1 just over the years, but
Okay.
not like, oh, it's a piece of shit. Just like John said, Beast Wars was better, this and that. But the quality of toy versus, and I say newer meaning the 90s and later, not necessarily 2025 versions, right? Trying to understand kind of why G1 is worth what it is. Is it because of the nostalgia? Because, I mean, honestly, you think, obviously, in the 90s, the toys got better. I would assume. Better
Yes.
articulation, better transforming, better this, better
Well,
that.
technology got better to be able
Yes.
to produce those toys.
Right.
Yeah.
But then, does G1s seem like they were really kind of, in comparison, are really kind of shitty?
they're not shitty but basic, right? So like I get what you're getting at. It's not that the toy was shitty. It's that when you compare the original toys and their transforming ability with what came afterwards, clearly, like Tony said, the technology's gotten better. The toys can be more involved and more interactive. I think that you kind of hit the nail on the head, though, right? Like if you take what you were just saying and what Tony was saying, the fact that the G1 Transformers are 40 years old, the fact that they were the first, right? And that kind of explains why the value is so high.
That's fair. I guess I'm looking at the mind of somebody who just doesn't get Transformers. Like, I just don't see the appeal of Transformers.
But also,
That's-
why are any toys from back then worth money? Because people
because
they
like,
weren't
trophies
mass
are
produced the
fucking
way that
amazing.
they are now, and people didn't always hang on to them, right? So it's kind of like, as a kid, the people that are older than me, like I've heard people say, "Oh, my parents made me get rid of my toys, and I wish I never did that." And so now some of those people have money and they want to go back and get the things that they didn't have, right, or that they had and then they had to get rid of. And so it's the pull of nostalgia, in my opinion.
I guess I'm inebriated, so follow it. I guess I'm just trying to understand the draw of Transformers, G1 versus others, right?
All right. So I got something.
You can go on, like, maybe I'm just not getting because like I am foggy. I've been drinking a lot.
No, you're fine. So I got this. So let's give an example, right? So this Ratchet,
Hey, look, it's Ratchet.
that is a G1 Ratchet. It's not a knockoff, a Chinese reissue or anything like that. I sell them, absolutely. I don't care. We talked about that in the last cast. This is the commemorative edition G1 Ratchet. Okay? This toy is hot fucking garbage. Kids that got it in the 80s, listen, man, you can see, let me zoom in enough. See that little card thing right there? That's what he looks like transformed.
Oh.
G1 Ratchet and G1 Ironhide are absolute hot garbage. Yet, they appeared in 90% of the G1 Transformer series before they both got fucking murked in the freaking movie. Okay? They both got taken out in the movie. Thank God for their toys. But in the G1 world, you had great toys were like Jazz. Jazz looked awesome. Now, you go back and try to buy a G1 Jazz right now, good fucking luck. It is so goddamn expensive to make you puke. I've wanted to buy one. I even tried to buy a reissue. The only thing I can buy is the China knockoff, which is fine. There's no big deal there. But I love Jazz, and I've got money. I want a nice G1 Jazz. They're just too much money. It's not worth my time. So original, a lot of the original first line of G1 Transformers derived out of Takara's Diaclone line. Diaclone used to make a lot of toys where they Transformers would transform into bigger robots. So in my opinion, I call them like the true combiner people. They didn't make a lot of this turns into this until later on, where they started running out of ideas, and kids stopped buying them because they're like, I don't need a robot that turns into a bigger robot, I want something else. So they came out with the Mecha Change line. The Mecha Change line had a gun, Megatron. You can find him actually very inexpensively. Not the Diaclone one, but the in-between one, where he, I think he was called Gun Robo, but he turned into a gun from a Transformer. Then you had, when Diaclone really took off, they had, with the rest of the Micro Change line, you had watches. You guys remember the Transformer watches? I had it when I was a kid. You took off your watch, and it, like the little watch turned into a Transformer. So that was part of the Micro Change line.
I had a Queen Alien watch.
That's
nice.
It's cool.
And then they had like the little cassette box, and again, that was part of the Micro Change line. They had one that looked like a VHS, part of the Micro Change line. It's whatever they had to give kids something to transform. When they were done with that, Hasbro went over, talked to Takara, and said, hey, we want to do this line. We're going to call it Transformers. We want everything you fucking have. So all of these Diaclone toys migrated to the U.S. and became Transformers. I would kill to have any of those Diaclone toys. You think Battle Convoy, who's supposed to be Optimus, is expensive? Try buying the one that was Ultra Magnus, where it's like an orange cab and a blue fucking trailer, and all the cars are on it. He's like, I mean, you're talking $7, $8, $9, maybe $15,000. Some of these pieces in the box, because they were so minimal in their production. But everything that's Transformers for G1 came from that Diaclone line, and I got to give them my hats off, man. Got to give them props, because as a kid, I cannot imagine today turn around and go back and look like we're the reason American kids are playing with these toys. It happened with Jetfire. Whenever I sell Jetfire at the show, everybody wants to talk to me about him. Anybody knows about him. They're like, oh, I only want it because it looks like Macross. I said, well, it is Macross. That toy originated in the Macross toy line. Robotech, Chris, if you don't know. They brought it over, and Hasbro said, and whoever it was said, you got to change it. It can't be the same colors. So they were like, all right, fuck it. They went red and black and white. And so it became Jetfire. And he is by far one of the most beloved and most desirable toys for people to purchase.
Yeah. And I mean, and I feel similar to the Beast Wars toys, right? Like, again, like the Transmetal toys, like Tony said, they're worth money, and they did some variants of other things. So, like, Megatron's final toy form was the dragon that he turned into in the last like 4 episodes of the show. Yeah. But they also did, a couple of years after Beast Wars ended, they did this convention, and they had an exclusive Megatron, and it was the exact same toy, but instead of being red and orange, it was blue. and light blue like ice. And that one's super expensive to find. But a lot of the Transmetal toys, they didn't make a lot of them for some reason. And it's interesting because the first season of Beast Wars was 26 episodes. Season 2 and Season 3 were both 13 episodes each. And so you only had 52 episodes of the show. And my understanding is, and again, I was just a kid, but I remember going to Walmart and Toys R Us and trying to find Beast Wars figures in Season 1, and you couldn't find anything. Like, you could find Rat Trap, you could find Dino Bob, but you couldn't find Optimus Primal, you couldn't find Megatron, you couldn't find Scorponok, you couldn't find Pterosaur. Like, all these figures would come out, and they'd be gone, and they'd never get restocked.
Rhinox and Rat Trap sat on the shelves.
Yes. But then when Season 2 started and all the Transmetals hit, the Transmetal toys of the figures or of the characters that were in the show would sell and be gone. And all that would sit on the shelves were like Cyber Shark and all these other characters that never actually appeared on the show.
Yep.
Ever. And so I don't know if Hasbro was thinking, I don't know if Chris got kicked out or what,
His
but
internet's bad.
I don't know if Hasbro was thinking, oh, hey, these toys aren't selling and we're gonna wrap things up. But it's like any character that actually appeared on the show sold very, very well. All the extra characters that they tried to just make to cash in didn't sell at all. And I always kind of thought if they had put more of that money into making the ones who were in the show and producing those, they would have made money. You wouldn't have anything shelf warming.
I agree. So that's what kids wanted, right? They wanted what was in their show that they could watch. It's like, oh, I see that character, I want that character, I want to buy that character, and they didn't do enough of that. We actually talked about that before. You actually commented because I was making, I'm like, what was the 2-pack? And you're like, oh yeah, it was a gator and a bat. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, in Japan, because Japan had Beast Wars 2.
I was asking who the fucking fire ant was, and you're like, it's Inferno.
Yeah.
He became the new Waspinator where he gets exploded.
Yep.
They'd shoot him and stuff. Yeah, but so one of the things from the Transmetals, I remember when Megatron, as the Tyrannosaurus, they transmetaled him, and all of a sudden this motherfucker had like hovercraft.
Yep.
Shit.
So that he could fly, because Optimus could fly.
Correct.
In Season 1, and Megatron could not.
I'm back.
And I mean, now some of the figures that didn't appear on the show were actually cool, but those ones you couldn't find either. So they did, because originally they were going to turn Rhinox transmetal, and they didn't in the show. They left him like he was, but they actually released a toy that was the prototype of how he was going to look transmetal, and that toy was awesome. But it came into stores and left very, very quickly and didn't get restocked. And you had some other characters, like they made a transmetal pterosaur, even though they killed him in the first episode of Season 2. So, like, he was just gone. You didn't even see him. He was just, they're like, oh, yeah, no, he died. The same thing with Scorponok.
They just died.
So you remember, do you remember Cheetor, in my opinion, would you equate him to be like the Bumblebee of fucking Beast Wars?
Yes, because he was the kid. He was the one that everybody had to look out for. He was the one who, it was his first mission. He didn't know what was going on. And he was the one that made all the mistakes.
So he was a cheetah, then it became like a transmetal cheetah.
A jaguar. The first transmetal was a jaguar, yeah.
And then they made him
Saber-toothed tiger in Transmetal 2 form.
What was the Beast Machines though? He was like
He was back to a regular cheetah.
That's what it was. And then you had Tiger Claw, or what was his name?
You had Tigatron.
Tigertron.
The white tiger.
He was basically a white Cheetor.
Yes. The toys looked exactly the same, even though he was a tiger and Cheetor was a cheetah. But then you got that awesome Tiger Hawk in Season 3.
Like almost
that
like
figure was awesome.
It was blue and white?
Yes. It was a cross between Air Razor and Tigatron because they got abducted together and the aliens like scrapped them and then put them together to be their emissary.
That was so messed up, man. That white fucking... What was this called? The white... Before they scrapped Air Razor, he was all white with blue and purple. They scrapped them and then went on. What the hell was his name? God, I have to go back and watch the series now.
Beats the shit out of me.
So so the all white with blue and purple was Tigerhawk.
Tigerhawk.
That was at the end. That was in season 3, and that was the combination of Air Razor and Tigatron.
Yeah, but they used to like portray like he was just a Maximal, nobody cared.
I mean, the toy, it was like that, yes, but he was actually just the alien emissary. But
I don't think they ever explained. Maybe I'm wrong. It's been so many years, man. But did they ever explain what the purpose was that they had to stay in beast form?
Yeah. So when they landed on the planet, the energon was there was too much energon on the planet, and if they were out of their base where the shields were, and they didn't have a beast form or some other kind of form to shield them from the energon, they would overload and die.
Okay.
So they really played that up through season 1. Like, they would get damaged, and for some reason they couldn't transform back into beast mode, and they would start losing. Like, they'd go blind. All these things would happen, and they would have to.
Guys here.
They would have
Jose.
They would have to find a way back to the base to get in the R chamber so that they could be healed. But then, of course, people got tired of that. So when the alien thing blew up at the end of season 1, the energon wasn't there anymore. All the energon that was on the planet was stable, and it couldn't affect them anymore. So there was really no reason to have a beast mode at that point.
Yeah, my God. All right, so
A lot of Transformers. Jesus
Weizie?
Christ.
were you expecting this to go anywhere? Or are we just gonna keep talking about Beast Wars?
I mean, hey, like I said, this was you guys. You guys want to talk Transformers. This is y'all. I mean, we've had a couple people in the chat say things like about some of the more recent stuff, the movies and everything, but I don't know if we want to get into that world.
All right, so I think the movies are, in my opinion, back to my original thought, right? Like, technology. So, like, they came out with Transformers. Let's talk about the first one. They come out with the first movie. You got Shia LaBeouf, you got Megan Fox, and I get it. It's sex appeal. And it's whatever. But the movie itself, I quickly was turned off by the fact of, I don't care what Optimus looks like. I knew it wasn't going to be Geo and Optimus. Didn't make sense. Why would he turn into like an 85 fucking truck?
Yeah.
We're in the year 2000 or whatever it was, 2005, 7, whatever it was.
2007.
To see a short end semi is like rare shit these days.
Well, we wouldn't have seen that, so it didn't make sense. So I understood that. What I had a problem with was the story and why they're fighting this weird rendition of Megatron. Megatron looks like shredded cheese, but metal. And then Starscream, he doesn't look like a modern F-14. He just looks like a fucking super jet. I had a problem with it. It's like, look, you don't want to introduce these characters. I'm fine with that. I get that. You want Starscream. You want Megatron. You want Soundwave. Well, then make them modern versions of that thing.
Yeah.
Don't make them some crazy futuristic-looking thing, because now you're losing everybody. And anybody who's going to watch Transformers, their audience was G1 kids. Kids who had Transformers are like, oh shit, there's a live-action movie. They lost their minds. They wanted to go see it. I went and saw it. I'm like, eh. And the second one came out. I'm like, eh. And the third one came out. I'm like, ah, God. And I just kept gradually going downhill. Like, there's the one where
it's funny because like
I will be right back.
I have no tie or connection to G1 because I wasn't a Transformers fan. The movies I enjoyed. I was like, oh, this is cool to watch. But because I didn't have any of that knowledge or care to anything that you just said that bothered you to bother me, because it meant nothing. That was my first time seeing like Megatron in that. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have anything to compare him to. I had nothing to go on. So I enjoyed it for the action, for the supposed sex appeal. Like, I had no problem with the actual movie.
It's pretty bad, though, man. That's a problem. Like, it was...
I went in there wanting to see robots fight each other, and that's what I got.
I just think that like Michael Bay is about shock value. He wants you to be shocked and impressed with whatever's on the screen.
Okay.
He did the same thing with Transformers, or I'm sorry, with Turtles. So, shock value, whatever you can do to put on screen, sex
I
appeal, all
want
that
to like
kind of
that
crap.
movie.
But Transformers, I think I get it. It can't be like, true to Gen 1 because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't like appeal to everybody. They have to appeal to everyone, not just people who grew up with it. But when they did shit like Megatron, they overdid some of the characters just like way too far past what you can comprehend. And it's like it's less engaging. It's like I don't want to watch this. I like big robots, but I'm like, eh. And then you watch the rest of the movies and you're like, they're even fucking worse. They disengage you so much because the CGI and everything that's going on is so well over the top that you get well out of what the movie's supposed to be about.
Well, see, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what the movie, because you have the history with the movies, with the franchise. So you know where it can be, you know where it should be, you know the general stories. Even though obviously for the movies they tweak the stories, they change this and that, right?
Sure.
Whereas somebody like me, I was the neutral audience. I went into that knowing nothing except for obviously what Transformers are and Optimus and Mega. Like I knew the basics, but I didn't know the stories. So I was like going to that. I went to a blind. I was like, oh, it's a good popcorn flick. I watched robots whoop each other's ass, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. But I can see where a fan can watch and be like, yo, you guys dishonored what this could have been, like wholeheartedly.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm still in the camp of these franchises and these movies that don't need people for putting people in them.
what do you mean?
Like you didn't need the whole Sandwick Wiki and the Megan Fox story. Like,
Right.
You don't
Yeah, I
need that.
agree with that.
You don't need humans at all in a Transformer movie, right? They just bring them in to have that human connection to make the audience engage and then to something to follow. But it's like you don't need them in a Transformer movie.
Well, they did it because Megan Fox is hot, and then they show her like bending over in his car and all that crap. Well, now people are engaged. Oh, it's Megan Fox.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, but like for the audience wise, it adds that human element to it. But you don't fucking need that. You could do a Transformer movie, live action, without humans at all, and just do like the original shows did. Original shows didn't have humans because they didn't fucking need them.
Well, you have RC with her big, her big
boxy breasts.
Oh, I said Section 8, but her big fucking Tomb Raider boobs.
Do you?
All right, so
I noticed one of the questions earlier was from Scott. He asked if you think that they'll do another one-off Bumblebee movie.
Yes.
You think so? I never saw the Bumblebee movie.
Yeah, so the Bumblebee movie was awesome. Yes, I think they'll do another one just because of like character development. They're not doing Transformers right now. The newest one is going to come out in like 2027, I think. So we got about 2 years before they do another Transformers movie. Not even looking forward to it. Don't care.
You're not excited for Michael Bay to come back and direct the next one?
Not even remotely. I was gonna say, should we tidy this up at 10:30?
I mean, if that's how you're feeling, if you're feeling froggy.
Do I flip?
No. I know you both have work tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow, so I can stay till fucking midnight. Like, I don't give a shit.
I can't stay that long. I mean, I could stay on for a bit longer, but definitely not midnight.
So I guess with the main topic was obviously Transformers between the two of you because you guys are both passionate about Transformers. Was there any other aspect of it that you wanted to touch on tonight, or are you both kind of got your points across, had the good conversation, and that's where you're kind of at?
I mean, I guess the only other thing that I was really going to say was I'm still trying to collect the Beast Wars line, right? Like, I have some of the original toys, every one of the not re-releases, but when they did the War for Cybertron trilogy on Netflix, they re-released a bunch of new designs of the old Beast Wars characters. I picked all those up. But I was really disappointed when they stopped doing the re-releases because they did the majority of season 1 characters. Hasbro
They killed
did.
it. Yep.
And then they just stopped. If they had gone on and done the Transmetal ones, those would have sold so well. And I just don't understand why they don't keep doing the things they should do.
I think Armada, because there's a huge following for Armada. So, give an example. My stepson, Gregory is smart as shit. I said this before, but he's a huge fan of Armada. He loved the show. He watches it because it mixes anime and Transformers. And Armada was a great show. And the toys were awesome. And so he keeps like, oh, Tony, you think you're going to make Armada? I'm like, maybe. I think Armada is going to be the next thing where you're going to see re-releases of Armada. Because they've already done it twice. I think you're going to see re-releases of Armada. They're going to hit the shelves. They're going to do the whole series with the mini-cons, all that crap. I think it's going to hit shelves again. It's going to be fucking huge.
Yeah. I don't know. I was so disappointed in the way that Beast Wars ended. The ending of the show was great. And then in Japan, they did Beast Wars 2, and those figures were just crazy. Like, the Gator and Bat, I was like, okay, we're done with this. And then over here in America, they're like, oh, wait a second. People love that show? We're going to give you Beast Machines, which made no sense at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and the toys weren't even good. Right? Like, the designs weren't good. It didn't look good. The show wasn't good. It just, I don't know. It kind of tarnished the legacy of Beast Wars for me. But some of those figures were great. And I don't know if Tony ever collected any of them, but he talked about depth charge when you guys talked about Transformers 4. That figure is awesome.
I had a couple Transmetals and Transmetal 2s. And yeah, I'm with you, man. Like,
Rampage was a fantastic figure that I never got because I could never find him, and he's super expensive if you have him with the tracks, because he had the rubber tracks that would go on the tank wheels.
I love toys like that, where it's like, if you got him, do you have this with him? Kind of like the original Thunder Tank. If you have the original, do you have the tracks? That's awesome. I don't have them. I don't have either one. I'd love to own. I could have bought it for $100 a while back, but I'd love to own the Beast Machines Cheetor, the big giant one that transform. I'd love to have them.
I saw that in Orlando in July when I was at this toy store in Orlando. It was like a really huge toy store, collectible place. It also sold comics, but they had one of them there. It was like $120.
Yeah, it's not expensive. It's just a cool piece.
Yeah. I hated the design, though. So, like, Beast Machines, for me, I don't want any of it.
Yeah. All right, so we want to kill it or what?
We can start running down.
I apologize.
I just wanted to throw out
Jose had the Transmetal Rampage.
So I've been thinking. I've had some time to think while you guys have been discussing Transformers.
You have, huh?
What I want to do for our episode next week.
Were you thinking or drinking?
Do you want to zoom and a boom boom?
Absolutely. How did you know? So, because early in the episode, Scott had mentioned that he was a fan of the idea that Stu was still alive in Scream. Right? So I'm thinking next week I want to do just an episode based on not necessarily horror, but the movies you watch that have like wild, outlandish fan theories that make valid points.
Okay.
Oh, I need to do some research.
So, example, Tony, I sent you that one the other day about how Breakfast Club was.
That's
all about
wild. Well, it's about Rugrats too. Same thing.
Right. No, with the Breakfast Club, that I think her name was Amy.
Yeah.
One girl who's like kind of like a loner.
Ali Sheedy.
What?
The actual name he was saying, yeah.
Okay. It's like she's the only person who's actually in detention, and everybody else was a figment of her imagination.
Right, she's hot as shit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like so those like weird out there fan theories, but when you really look at it, like, holy shit, they're onto something. I want to discuss those types of things.
Okay. I'm in. It's a little weird, but I'm in.
I mean, I think that it'll just bring conversation up. You know what I mean?
Well, I think what it'll do is you'll talk about some stuff, and then John and I'll bring like reality to the conversation, and we'll elaborate. And you'll get drunk.
It can happen, especially if.
No, thank you so much for having me, man. Seriously.
You know, I do appreciate you coming out, man.
Sure.
You're being a very big supporter of me trying to get this off the ground, so I do
A
appreciate
very
that.
big supporter.
Whoa. Sounds like a complex there. But also, Psycho, I do appreciate you coming out.
I thank you for having me. It's always
jumping on.
fun.
I know you have a lot of fun doing these with us.
Absolutely.
Tony, did you want to plug anything before you get out of here?
No, she's at her house, so I can't plug her.
Ooh.
No, so listen, I'll just plug again. Like, listen, Drinks and Toys, Tuesday nights, same channel, you guys know, 9 o'clock. We try to like incorporate and make sure we're both getting like some thing. Chris, let me
Ooh,
in
looks
there
like
next.
there's some
Yeah.
Cuban guy wants to get on next week and talk about the weird fan theories.
Oh, I'm in. Fuck yeah, man. Let's do this.
Yeah.
That's great shit. Yeah,
And
so
just so
the
people
only
know,
thing is-
if you're in the chat, you want to get in on a cast, let us know. We can work shit out.
I got nothing this week, but next Sunday, I will be in Bradenton with Sugar Drizzle. She's going to go ahead and do some sales with me and hopefully make some money. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's all I got, man. I got nothing else. Down to see you guys next Thursday. We'll see you Tuesday, hopefully, also.
Yeah, Tuesday. Everybody, check us out Tuesday night at Drinks and Toys. Because
Which, Psycho, man, if you want to join, fucking join.
All right.
if you're available, yeah.
I'm down. We'll
All right,
talk about
sounds
toys.
good.
We'll slowly phase Weizie out.
Fuck you. We usually don't know what our topic is till about 20 minutes before the show.
We don't. About 20 minutes before, I'm like, oh shit, guys.
How about this? And
We know
almost
Tony's going to talk about Mega Man, though.
Fuck
Mega Man 6 is the best goddamn game Mega Man ever came out with. I'm
And
down for
yeah.
that. In fact, you know what? That's the opener Tuesday. Mega Man 6.
I'm going to be late for that cast.
That's fine. Because Johnny and I will be about like 45 minutes into it. He'll be like, look, you motherfucker. I'm like, hold on. Don't start.
All right, cool. So appreciate everybody coming out, everybody in the chat. Like, share, subscribe, do all that bullshit. Help us grow everything between collectors and Drinks and Toys.
Happy to join,
until
man. Thank you.
Next week, I'll talk to you gentlemen later.
Yes, sir.
See you.